Welcome back to the kitchen. This is one of my very favorite recipes. I created this, probably 10 years ago or so, when I had a bumper crop of small tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes, you can use different colors tomatoes, yellow pears, red ones. Small tomatoes work best in this, and they're blistered. Now this is a technique that I developed years and years ago called blasting. Blasting is that you cook any kind of a thing, whether it's a raw chicken, you want to cook it fast, you cook everything at blasting temperatures, 450 degrees. That is a very high temperature for an oven. My oven goes up way over 500 degrees. Most home ovens don't. They usually go to about 450. And if your oven does, then this one is simple. If it only goes to 425, you can still do it, but just cook it for a longer period of time. I really don't have a name for this outside of blasted fresh tomato sauce. I mean, if you come up with a better one, drop me an email and give me some names. I'm really hard, I have a hard time with these name things. I just can't think about it. I could cook, but I never can remember the name things. So anyway, this is blasted. And what this is olive oil, a half of a red onion cut julienne strips. You can see the yellow onion, red onion rather, and the small cloves of garlic. And believe it or not, we also have in here anchovies again. So I cooked this down at about 450 degrees in the oven until you can smell it and start to see it caramelize. Caramelizing is this syrupy stuff that's at the bottom. And this is where all the goodies and all the taste is. This really makes a great dish. This is simple. You can come home from work, go throw this in the oven, the tomatoes, the onions, and the garlic, and a little bit of the anchovies. Go get changed, throw on your sweats, come back down to the kitchen. Meanwhile, you got a pot of water going for the pasta, and this should be done. So this is simple, this is quick, it's fast, it's easy, it's fresh. And remember, fresh and fast and fabulous is the name of the game, because none of us want to slave around a kitchen anymore. We want fresh food, we want to make it fast, we want to make it convenient, and rely on a lot of pantry staples. And we'll be doing pantry staple cooking here a lot. What that means is it's stuff that you probably have on hand. Canned food, believe it or not, you can actually transform canned food into something amazing. And we'll do those because I've got a lot of recipes that do that. But this one, like I said, is one of my very favorites. So this goes best on probably a type of tubular pasta. I don't usually use this on like a spaghetti or a linguine or an angel hair, because the heavier the sauce, the bigger the noodle, because otherwise it gets lost, it gets sloppy, you'll end up wearing it like I do. And never eat from a cook that doesn't have stains on their clothes. This is a real critical, important thing to do. If you go over to somebody's house and they've been cooking all day for you, and if they don't have stains on their clothes, don't eat. Just have a couple drinks and forget it. Meanwhile, let me get the pasta. Okay, here's the pasta in my mother's enamel pasta colander. This thing has been around forever. And I like to use, these are ridged, and you can see these closely. This is rigatoni. This is my very favorite pasta shape. It goes with just about anything because it actually, there's little grooves in there that holds the sauce in better than just about anything else. So pretend this is hot. This was hot before I turned it off the stove. You take this, okay? This is a very sophisticated technique. You dump it in here. You probably could manage this, right? Okay, so you throw it in here, take it out of the colander, and you toss it. I mean, how hard is this? This is simple stuff. That goes out in here, and we toss it up, and you don't want to stir. You want to roll. This is a rolling technique. Rolling technique, you go from the bottom with the spoon, my mom's spoon. You go from the bottom, and you fold over the top with the sauce. Now you can put grated cheese on here at the end, which I do. I happen to like, a lot of people like Parmesan cheese. I happen to like Romano. I like the bite of the Romano. I want it to bite me back. Obviously, I've got an exaggerated personality. I don't know if it's due to my Italianness or maybe it's because I grew up with all brothers and no sisters, either one. You know, maybe that could be it too. You had to fight for your life. So I like to do this rolling technique, which is what you do in a lot of bakery items, and we'll be doing baking in here as well. So this is colorful, and before you serve it, what do you want to do? You want to throw on your julienne pieces of basil on top. It's colorful. It's the Italian flag even. Hey, mangia. And then, of course, you serve with extra grated cheese on the side. Tongs. Mine are well loved, well used. A lot of my stuff has fallen apart, but you know what? This is memories. I remember when I did this, and I can remember thinking to myself, you know, I really should get a new one, but I don't think so. I like to remember when I was cooking. I like memories in the kitchen. And if you cooked with your grandmother, cooked with your mom, you know, you have the best memories of all. And if you're lucky enough to have any of those recipes that you've kept over the years, or you can remember them, bring them back. And I bet you a lot of them are going to be kitchen staples that you have in your kitchen or in your pantry that have been there for years. Whip out that old can of tuna. Whip out that can of salmon. Make salmon patties. Make something from the Depression, because we're Depression cooking now, because I think we're going to be entering a depression this year too. This doesn't look good for the economy. That's another subject altogether. We'll go to politics at some other time. Meanwhile, manja.